vaccine or Momma Cherri's stay-at-home prevention corona soul in the bowl. This is what happened. Let me get to you close up. Okay, it's Momma Cherri. I'm going to actually read from cover to cover for the first birth of the restaurant. This is what you've been waiting for. Put the glasses back on. It's a kitchen nightmare. Oh yeah.
You wanna do it, do it, do it. I got the cornbread and hush puppies too. Putting it together just for you. We're going to enjoy our soul in a bowl. You say so.
Hello and welcome back. Yes, welcome back. We are now at part 2 of part 8. Sounds confusing, but it's not. So, we're up to part 8, which is our vegetables and sides. And in the last video, I took you up to the green bean vinaigrette. I did explain that this was a rather long chapter and it would have to be broken down into 2. So, that's what I've done. So, welcome back and let's dive right on up into this because this is one of my favorite recipes. Look at this. I'm going to even show you the picture first. Okay? And that is a dish that I named Solartouille. So it's kind of like a ratatouille, but it's a solartouille, Momma Cherri way. So, let me get my glasses back on, and let's get reading, okay? Let me read to you. Sit back, get your cup of tea, cup of coffee, vodka and tonic, gin and tonic, whatever you like. For me, it would be a tequila. Sit down and enjoy. And here we go. Mama's Solartouille. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, we're ready. All right. I created this recipe while cooking for the crowds up in Scotland at the 2006 Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It was based on an old Bajan, that's short for Barbadian dish, with a touch of French and American soul thrown in. So it might remind you of a dish from the Caribbean or an old-fashioned provincial ratatouille, thus inspiring the name Solartouille. You can give your own spin to this dish by adding more vegetables. So what you're going to need is 1 large aubergine cut into cubes, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, 1 large onion, 1 red green pepper, roughly diced, some olive oil, a tablespoon of cumin seeds, a teaspoon of dried chili flakes, half a Scotch bonnet chili if you want it really spicy, 2 tablespoons of Mama's Love Dust, 1 clove of garlic, finely chopped, 1 small knob of fresh ginger peeled and finely chopped, and then you're going to need some either frozen okra or fresh okra trimmed and sliced lengthways, 1 large potato peeled and diced, 1 can of chopped tomatoes, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, a little water of vegetable stock, and a heart full of love and soul. And this is what you're going to do. Hold on, let me just get my glasses right. They steaming up, I don't know why. Let me turn my fan on. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Spread the aubergine cubes out on a kitchen paper towel. Sprinkle with some sea salt and leave it while you prepare the rest of the vegetables and the ingredients. This will help release some of the juice and remove the bitterness often associated with aubergines or eggplants. By the time you have finished cutting up all the rest of the vegetables, the aubergines will be ready. Try and cut the onion and peppers about the same size as the aubergine chunks, okay? Cubes, so they're going to all be very chunky. Pour enough oil into a large pan to cover the base and place over a medium heat. Add the diced onion, peppers, cumin seeds, chili, Cajun seasoning, my love does, garlic, and ginger, and cook until the onion has softened. You will be able to smell that ginger. Add the aubergine, okra, and potatoes and give everything a good stir, making sure all the vegetables are coated with the seasonings. Cook for about 2 to 3 minutes until the aubergine begins to reduce in size and release its natural juices. Add the tomatoes and the tomato puree. At this stage, you can add a little water or vegetable stock if you want it a little bit wetter version. Although the longer you cook the dish, the more juices will be released from the vegetables. Continue to stir, and while stirring, add your own love and soul to the pot. Cover and simmer for about 30 minutes until all the vegetables are tender, stirring frequently so that the tomatoes don't stick to the bottom of the pan. Serve over a bed of Hoppin' John's rice and peas. Oh God, I forgot all about this recipe. Let me show that to you one more time. My Solartouille. Delicious. Okay, let's move it on along. Okay, I can feel already just a little bit of lights and I start glowing. You know me, I glow. So this recipe is roast curry butternut squash and pumpkin. This dish can be varied by adding or substituting root vegetables such as carrots, swedes, or turnips. Or try courgettes or whatever takes your fancy. After removing the seed from the squash, you can roast them for a healthy snack. Those are the seeds. Just leave them out to dry and then put them on a slightly greased baking tray, sprinkle with sea salt, and place in a hot oven. The roasting time will depend on how wet the seeds are. Anything from about 10 to 45 minutes. But be careful not to burn them. Now this is what you're going to need. 1 butternut squash or pumpkin peeled, seeded, and cut into small chunks. 2 large onions roughly chopped. 1 teaspoon of sea salt. 2 tablespoons of mild curry powder and 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes. 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds and 100 grams of soft and brown sugar. 70 milliliters of olive oil, some sour cream or creme fraiche or yogurt to serve with it. Okay? Place the squash or the pumpkin and the onions in a roasting tin and sprinkle with salt, curry powder, chili flakes, cumin seeds, brown sugar, and olive oil to the top. Using your hands, gently massage the seasoning into the vegetables. Then leave to stand for about 15 minutes so that the flavors can begin to be absorbed. Place on the top shelf of an oven, preheated to 180, gas mark 4, and bake for 35 to 40 minutes until the vegetables are tender. Serve with cream cheese, creme fraiche, or yogurt. Roasting vegetable trio. Use potatoes, sweet potatoes, and pumpkin. Cut them into wedges with their skins on and parboil them. Drain well and place on a baking tray. Sprinkle with sea salt and Cajun seasoning. Love dust. Then drizzle with olive oil and rub it in to coat the vegetables thoroughly. Bake on the top shelf of an oven preheated to 180 or about 350, 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes until the vegetables and the skins begin to crisp up. So let me just show you this one. Okay? Lovely. Let's move on. Okay. An ode to the almighty sweet potato. Oh yeah. Sweet potatoes are one of the most versatile soul food vegetables around. You will find them on all holiday tables. Boiled, mashed, candied, and topped with marshmallows, or even made into pies and puddings for desserts. The sweet potato is surprisingly healthy, rich in vitamin E, and it is virtually fat-free and contains just 118 calories per medium potato. It can be traced back to the time of slavery. when it was cultivated by our forefathers in the southern states of America. George Washington Carver, 1864 to 1943, a black scientist, renowned for his research into the peanut, discovered 118 byproducts of the sweet potato. In order to help southern farmers utilize their crops to the full, he also developed over 300 uses for peanuts, including peanut butter, every small American child's favorite. Many people back home call sweet potatoes yams. The terms are used interchangeably, but in fact they are two entirely different vegetables. The yam is the tubular of a tropical vine and is not even distinctly related to the sweet potato. Candied sweet potatoes. Candied sweet potatoes, topped with marshmallows, are another holiday soul favorite. I have cooked the dish every Thanksgiving and Christmas for the past, I got down here 40 years, but I might as well, let's be real, 50 years. It was one of the first holiday dishes shown to me by my grandmother, mother, and aunts. You always knew there was some serious cooking going on when the sweet aroma wafted through the house. I cooked the dish on the BBC television for Thanksgiving 2005 with Anthony Worrell Thompson and Gary Rhodes. Gary was a bit shocked when the marshmallows came out, but I explained that we Americans like to combine the sweet and the savory tastes. So he stepped forward with his fork, took a big mouthful, and declared it delicious. I like to say at this time, rest in peace, Gary Rhodes. He passed away earlier in the year. He was a fabulous chef. So I will pop a picture in so you guys can see me and Gary Rhodes on Saturday Kitchen cooking together. And what you're going to need is a medium-sized sweet potato, a mixture of orange and white flesh ones, if you like. 110 grams of butter, 100 grams of soft brown sugar, teaspoon of ground cinnamon, teaspoon of vanilla, 1 orange, and marshmallows for topping. Place the unpeeled sweet potatoes in a large pot of water. Bring to the boil. Then reduce the heat and simmer until they are soft but not falling apart. Remove from the water and peel. Either slice them into thick pieces or chop them into cubes or mash them. It really doesn't matter. Arrange in a casserole dish or a baking tray and set aside. Put the butter and brown sugar in a pan and heat gently, stirring until melted. Stir in the cinnamon and the vanilla. Cut the orange in half and squeeze the juice out into the mixture. I also like to grate a bit of the zest into the sauce. Simmer for a couple of minutes until the sauce begins to thicken. Then remove from the heat and pour it over the sweet potatoes. It may seem like a lot of sauce, but the dish is meant to be rich and juicy. Place in an oven, in a preheated oven, 180 to 350, and bake for about 15 to 20 minutes until the sauce has begun to bubble and thicken at the sides. Remove and top with marshmallows. Yes, I said it. Marshmallows. Return to the oven and cook for a further 5 minutes until the marshmallows are golden, brown, and have melted. Serve hot. Serve with some chicken, turkey, meatloaf, or anything you like. It's delicious. Okay. Let's move on. So, we're going from some candied sweet potatoes to some candied carrots. Soul food tends to be a combination of sweet and savory. It's not unusual to find a vegetable smothered in candied sauce. Some of the dishes originally included sugar to help preserve them. Others just out of the desire for something sweet. When making a candy sauce, don't overcook it or it will harden. This basic candy sauce can be used for a variety of vegetables and fruits, desserts. So we want 1 kilo of carrots if you're making candied carrots for the candy sauce, butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla extract, and 1 orange. First, make the sauce. Melt the butter and sugar in a saucepan. Then add the cinnamon, vanilla, and orange zest. Simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes until the sugar begins to bubble. Peel the carrots and cut them into your own preferred dice, slice, lengths. Put them in a pan, cover with water, and bring to the boil. Simmer until the carrots are tender but not limp. Drain, place on a baking tray, and pour the candied carrot sauce, candied sauce, over them. Bake in an oven for just until it begins to thicken and bubble. Serve with chicken, turkey, or any meat. You only need to cook it for about 10-15 minutes. Candied butternut squash. This is a version of my candied carrots. Oddly enough, we tend to candy a lot of orange and yellow vegetables, perhaps capitalizing on their natural sweetness. Okay, so you've got your candy sauce, your butter, your brown sugar, your cinnamon, and your vanilla. And here you're going to take one butternut squash, peel it, cut it into cubes. After you make the sauce, you're just simply going to pour it over top of the butternut squash, which has been, you can either boil it or roast it before pouring it over, and it's going to be delicious. And here is a picture of your candied carrots. Okay. Candy, candy, candy everywhere. Okay, guys, you ready for this one? This is one of the big hitters. Macaroni and cheese. Yeah. Macaroni and cheese. Now, this is the dish. If you go back and watch Kitchen Nightmares, you're going to see how Gordon just loved my macaroni and cheese, and I hope you do too. Here you go. Macaroni and cheese. No holiday. Let me take a sip because this is such a big one. I need to get my throat ready. No holiday feast or Sunday dinner is complete without a large helping of Southern-style macaroni and cheese on the side. My mother is famous as the champion macaroni and cheese maker, although I think I'm now taking over her title. She taught me the secret of combining the various strong cheeses to make the perfect blend. I feel my recipe tops hers only because over here in England there is a wider variety of farmhouse cheeses, and they tend to be a little bit stronger. A few of my favorite are suggested below, but the choice is yours. Go to the supermarket with an assortment of cheeses. The trick is to ensure you include at least one blue cheese. Once you have made the cheese sauce, it will keep in your fridge for 3 to 5 days, ready for use in a variety of other dishes. So you're going to need 500 grams of dried macaroni, 1 teaspoon of olive oil. For the cheese sauce, 75 grams of butter, 50 grams of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of Mama's Cajun seasoning, my love dust, 1 tablespoon of mild American mustard, or English mustard if you prefer it to have a little bit more of a kick, 1 liter of milk. Then you're going to want 100 grams of Stilton cheese crumbled, 100 grams of mature red Leicester, 150 of mature English cheddar grated, 100 grams of mature Wexford Irish cheese. Now, what I recommend you is you want to look for a variety of strengths. I tend to go with 4 and 5 for my cheddar, but then I now also add some grated mozzarella. It just helps with that stickiness and gooiness. But I recommend try to go for, if you can, 5 different cheeses. Just makes for a perfect blend. Making a nice cheese sauce takes a little time and patience. You don't want to walk away while it's cooking because it can easily stick and begin to burn. And if it catches, believe me, it's hard to get rid of that taste or disguise it. To start, melt the butter in a medium saucepan over a low heat. Stir in the flour with a wooden spoon and mix until you have a smooth paste, a roux, okay? Stir in the salt, Cajun seasoning, and mustard. Continue to cook the roux for at least a minute. You need to make sure that the flour is cooked. Slowly add the milk, stirring while you bring it to a simmering point. Once you have added all the milk, simmer for at least 5 minutes. When the sauce begins to thicken, stir in the cheeses, reserving half of the English cheddar to use as a topping on the top. And I always add the blue cheese at the end. Okay, once it's made up, then you crumble that blue cheese through it. Bring a large pot of water to a boil, then add some salt and olive oil. Add the macaroni and bring to a boil, cooking according to the directions on the packet, or until the pasta is soft but not mushy and overcooked. Drain into a colander and transfer to a casserole or an oven-proof dish. Pour the cheese sauce over the pasta and stir in. Sprinkle the remaining grated cheese on top and bake in an oven, preheated oven. Quite hot oven, okay, 400 degrees or 200 degrees Celsius over here. You want to bake it for 20 minutes until the top begins to brown. Whatever you do, do not allow the pasta to dry out. If it's too dry, simply add a little milk to the dish and gently stir it in, being careful not to disturb the crusty top. Variations. Try adding tuna, cooked chicken, or any smoked meat or fish. When I was a child, it was standard Monday night meal. Leftover macaroni and cheese, leftover baked chicken, or canned tuna, and whatever vegetables we had. They would all be put into a casserole dish with a little extra milk and grated cheese and stirred in. Then the best bit of all, Mom would sprinkle potato chips, yes, crisps, over the top with a little more grated cheese. And therefore it would give that presto, another brilliant meal was made. And because of the crisp, the potato chips, us kids, we loved it. Fried plantain. The plantain is a relative of the banana, but larger and less sweet. It should always be cooked before being eaten. They used to be available only in ethnic markets, but nowadays you can always find them in a supermarket. Green or unripe plantains are used in soups and stews, or served boiled or mashed. As they begin to ripen and turn yellow, and almost towards black, the high starch content turns to sugar. This is when I like to cook them. Simply peel, slice, and fry. Fried plantain goes well with cornbread and all sorts of chicken. And plantain, the sweeter it gets and the softer it gets and darker, the sweeter it becomes. And this, you just need 2 ripe plantains, a knob of butter, or a spoonful of vegetable oil. Peel the plantains and slice them thickly, or not thin to thick. Heat the butter or oil in a frying pan, add the plantain slices and gently fry until golden brown on both sides. Alrighty, here we go. Let's carry on. Let me see how we're doing here. Yeah, good. Cajun potato wedges. This is an alternative to chips. They are so quick and easy to make, and because they use the whole potato, there's no waste. Serve as a snack or a side dish. You want 4 to 6 potatoes, vegetable oil, Mama's Cajun seasoning, some sea salt. Wash but don't peel the potatoes and cut each one into 8 wedges. Place in a pan of water, bring to the boil. Then reduce the heat and simmer for only about 5 minutes. Okay, you don't want to boil these potatoes till they're too hard, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to take them out of the water, give them a pat, drain them, and pat them dry. Heat a good layer of oil in a large frying pan. Add the potatoes and cook to them until they are soft and slightly blackened but not burnt. Remove from the frying pan and sprinkle with some Cajun seasoning and a touch of sea salt. Nowadays, what I tend to do is, after I have patted them dry, I just put a tiny bit of olive oil over the top, sprinkle them with my love dust, and then I put them in the oven on the top shelf or in my air fryer, okay? You don't really have to fry these in oil on the pan. I think you just get a better potato if you use an air fryer because they've improved these products, or in the oven, and therefore it is a lot healthier for you. Steamed white cabbage and butter. Oh God, I love this. Cabbage can sometimes be quite dull, but cooked in this simple way, it becomes a delicious, sweet, and tender. 1 medium-sized white cabbage, 1 knob of butter, onion, red pepper, water, some white sugar, sea salt, and black pepper. Cut the cabbage into quarters or 6, depending on how many people you are serving. Remove any wilted or discolored leaves. Place the butter, onion, and red pepper and water in a large pan and bring to the boil. Add the cabbage, salt, sugar, and pepper. Cover the pan and reduce it to simmer. Cook for about 15 minutes until the cabbage is tender. Serve hot with meatloaf, chicken, fish, or whatever you desire. Oh, God, just thinking of that makes me hungry. Cabbage with gammon and pineapple. Oh, yeah, pineapple. This dish is ideal if you're in a hurry and need to throw together something really quick that every member of the family will enjoy. The pineapple makes it a big hit with the children. You know what? I got me some gammon. I got me some cabbage and pineapple. I'm going to cook this for dinner tonight. It's that easy. And what I need, I have 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 onion slice, 1 green pepper slice, 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes, half teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of coarse black pepper, 500 grams of a gammon joint cut into cubes, or you can do it like a gammon steak, which is what I'm going to use. 1 can of pineapple pieces and 1 firm white or green cabbage cored and cut into pieces. Heat the oil in a large frying pan. Add the onion, green onion, chili flakes, salt, and pepper. Fry over medium heat for about 5 minutes until softened. Then add the gammon. Or you can cook the gammon in a separate frying pan. Separately cook the gammon first and then carry on by adding all of these things. Place the cabbage on top and cover the pan and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes until the cabbage is wilted. Then remove the lid and stir. Turn the heat up and cook away some of that liquid. Once the liquid has evaporated and the ham is cooked through, bingo, the dish is ready. Turn the page. Ooh, Succotash, the easy way. Almost every time a new customer sees Succotash on the menu, they're surprised to find that it's a real dish, rather than a cartoon explicit saying, "Oh, suffering Succotash." Well, I can tell you that it is indeed a real dish, and a very old one at that, going back to the early days when the American settlers and the Native American Indians met up for the first Thanksgiving. So it was told. It is a simple combination of corn and beans. The most commonly used beans are lima beans. When I first came to the UK, I couldn't find lima beans, and no one knew what they were. So for nearly 20 years, I went without. Then one day, while I was out shopping, I discovered a frozen broad bean, which are very similar to a lima bean. And my quest to make succotash was finally ready to happen. Many recipes use cream corn, but my family didn't like it, and we like to stick to the recipe I grew up with. You can always add some double cream at the end if you want a creamier version. And you want 65 grams of butter, 1 small onion chopped, 1 small red pepper, green and finely diced, 2 cans of sweet corn, drained or frozen, 1 shelled fresh broad beans, or you can use the frozen ones, 250 milliliters of water, 1 teaspoon of cider vinegar or malt vinegar, 100 milliliters of double cream, which is optional, salt, pepper, and a knob of butter. Put the butter, onions, and pepper in a pan. Add the sweet corn and the beans. Then pour in the water and stir well and season with a pinch of salt and pepper. Place over a moderate heat, bringing to a simmer, and cook gently, uncovered for about 20 minutes, adding the vinegar at the end. If you're using cream, this is the point to add it. Simmer for a further 5 minutes until the mixture is thickened. Then checking the seasonings and serve with a knob of butter on the top. Okay, here's what your succotash looks like. Let's get that close. Okay, can you see? Succotash. Oh yeah. Okay, so here we go. Corn pudding. I know this sounds like a dessert, but please believe me when I say it is served with the main course. You will by now be beginning to understand that the sweet tooth associated with soul food. We eat corn and rice pudding with our main meals. If raisins and a touch of more sugar are added, then it could be served as a dessert. Excuse me. You're going to need 2 325 grams cans of sweet corn drained, or you can use thawed frozen corn. 200 grams of castor sugar. 4 eggs beaten. 475 milliliters of milk. 2 tablespoons of plain flour or corn flour. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 30 grams of butter. Put the sweet corn, sugar, eggs, and milk in a bowl and mix until the sugar has dissolved. Add the flour or corn flour, salt, and vanilla, then pour into a greased, wide casserole dish and dot it with the butter. Bake in a preheated oven, gas mark 4, 180 Celsius or 350, for 50 minutes. Use a knife, insert it into the center. When it comes out clean, it's ready. Serve it warm. Barbecue baked beans. BBB. BBB. Baked beans have always been a part of my diet. Growing up poor in the ghetto, we were issued with Army surplus baked beans, huge blocks of processed cheese, corned beef, tinned tomatoes, and other foods delivered to low-wage families. To overcome the embarrassment of government surplus food, the women had to come up with creative ways of disguising it. This recipe and the one for spicy red beans that follow can be created from basic store-bought ingredients. 2 tins of baked beans, 1 onion diced, 1 green pepper, 1 can of pineapple chunks, soft brown sugar, butter, maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of mild American mustard, and streaky bacon. Combine all of the ingredients except the bacon in a bowl and mix well. Transfer to a casserole dish, and if you're using the baking, place the rations on the top. Place in an oven, preheated, and then bake for 45 minutes until the bacon begins to crisp up and brown and the beans bubble up. Oh God, I love that. Spicy red beans. Like black beans, red beans are very popular in soul food and soul cooking. Which you use depends on where you come from. My family usually went for black beans, black-eyed peas, while my brother's wife, who is from Florida, often opts for red beans. There are many recipes for red beans and rice, which is similar to Hoppin' John's. For the red beans, you're going to get some dried kidney beans, or you can use 2 tins of just your ready beans in the can. 400 milliliters of vegetable oil, 2 onions diced, 1 clove of garlic chopped, 1 red, 1 green diced pepper, 1 Scotch bonnet chili, but only a small bit, a pinch of cayenne pepper, 1 ham hock or 8 smoked bacon rations, 2 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 2 liters of vegetable or meat stock, salt, and pepper. If you're using the dried kidney beans, you'll need to soak them overnight. The next day, make sure you pour off all of the water and rinse the beans twice. Then place them in a large pot and bring to the boil. Skim off any white foam from the surface with a slotted spoon and boil hard for a good 10 minutes. This is important to eliminate any toxins that the beans may have. Reduce the heat and simmer for an hour until the beans are tender, drain, and set aside. Heat the oil in a large pan. Add the onions, garlic, peppers, chili, cayenne, and some salt and pepper. Cook over a moderate heat until the onions become translucent. If you're using ham hock, cut as much meat as you can away from the bone and chop it into 1 centimeter cubes. If you're baking, cut it up into small pieces. Turn up the heat. Add the meat. Add the bone if you're using a ham hock to the pot to cook for about 5 minutes until the meat is browned all over. Stir in the beans and bay leaf, Worcestershire sauce and vinegar. Then pour in the stock. Bring to a boil. Give it a good stir. Reduce the heat. Cook over a low heat for at least an hour or until the ham hock and bacon is cooked. Serve with rice or any other meat dish. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Hey, guess what? We done. Mama done finished that chapter. And I am so happy because I am moving on to my favorite chapter of all, baking. And I'm going to come back to you in part 9 for baking with the mama. So please sit back, enjoy, stay safe. And remember that mama loves you, okay? I hope you're enjoying this. I know it's taken a while, but hey, I'm reading the whole book to you. So, little bit of peace, whole lot of love and soul from the cooking mama. Soul in a bowl, yes. And don't forget, you can now get this cookbook in a digital form online. Go to my website, www.mommacherrisoulfood.com. Barely costs anything. So cheap. And it's interactive. You read the book. As you're going through the book, bang, a video will be shown if you want to see how to do the dish. Enjoy. Love you. See you next time. Soul in the bowl, yeah.